leave things as they are.
In this debate, the Noble Lord the Minister said, "Our broken asylum system is costing the country some £3 billion a year." I thought I'd look up the list of Home Secretaries since the 12th of May 2010. Theresa May, Amber Rudd, Sajid Javid, Priti Patel, Sheila Braverman, Grant Shapps and Suella Braverman again. Which one of those does the Noble Lord the Minister hold responsible for our self-described broken asylum system? Or all of them? Now, my noble friend Baroness Jones of Moleskines covered the general horrors of this indefensible bill. I'm going to focus on some of the actual people, the individuals who will be caught by it, who will be subjected to what can only be described as utterly unacceptable, inhumane, abusive treatment. Now, the Noble Lord the Minister in the introduction said 70% of the children arriving are aged over 16, so they would only spend 2 years or less warehoused here in the UK before the time for "Happy birthday, your present is a deportation flight." Of course, that means that 30% of cases will be facing more than 2 years in that situation of warehousing. An 8-year-old, a 10-year-old, a 12-year-old. What would such a situation, the foreknowledge of such a fate, do to their health and well-being? That treatment breaks the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child is only a statement of the obvious. Now, as noble ladies Baroness Lister and Sugg and others have highlighted, pregnant refugees are also trapped by this bill. The small but important victory won by cross-party campaigns in 2016 to exclude them from immigration detention wiped out. Yep. Their babies will be born into indefinite detention. How long will they stay in that situation? How inhuman is the government prepared to be? Now, people with mental health conditions, refugees who arrived here with conditions often induced by torture or war, who develop them as a result of our hostile environment. A direct question to the Noble Lord the Minister: has he read the detailed forensic examination of the impacts of the bill from the Royal College of Psychiatrists? It quotes the Shaw Review that immigration detention has a negative impact on detainees' mental health, and the impact on mental health increases the longer detention continues. Now, as many noble lords have said, there's the victims of modern slavery and trafficking. And this Royal College report points out how frequently they understandably suffer from difficult-to-treat complex PTSD. What will the indefinite detention or removal to Rwanda do to them? And picking up that group, I'm indebted to the noble lady Baroness Kennedy of the Shores for some information from an impeccable source, unpublished Home Office information that shows there is already an outrageous, persistent slavery survivor protection gap. Of the 11,137 confirmed cases of trafficking and modern slavery survivors referred for consideration for discretionary leave to remain in the 6 years and 9 months from April 16 to December 22, I'll repeat the figure, 11,137, only 738, 7%, have been granted leave to remain. Far from refugees gaming the system, we have a system that already is a lottery, and what this bill does is takes away any chance for those people to establish a secure life for themselves. Now, picking up again, focusing on people who will particularly suffer under this bill, as the Noble Lord Lord Etherton said, LGBTIQA+ refugees. Rwanda is not safe for them, nor are many of the other theoretical countries to which they might be shipped. Now, some might say that the people I have listed who are particularly vulnerable are not the majority of refugees who reach our shores by non-orderly means. As the Noble Lord the Minister said, an overwhelming majority of the arrivals were adult males under the age of 40. That's a fact. Men like the refugee now settled in Norway to whom the Noble Lord Lord Paddock referred. But what did the benches opposite have against young men? Most of them were young men once.
Not anymore.
I finish with a couple of general points arising from the debate. First, as Baroness Prasher said, asylum is a collective responsibility of all states. As the UNHCR, as the Council of Europe Commissioner for Human Rights, among many others, have pointed out, if other nations followed the lead of this bill, there would be a breakdown in the international system of refuge. Secondly, again highlighting the words of the noble Lord Etherton, this is not a small boats bill. The provisions of this bill would affect all who seek refugee status in this country. It is a comprehensive anti-refugee bill. And finally, the noble Lord Forsyth of Drumleen, who unfortunately is not in his place, quoted John Stuart Mill, "Bad men need do nothing more to compass their ends than that good men should look on and do nothing." That, I think, is a very useful reflection on the amendment to this motion, the bid by the Liberal Democrats, which has wholehearted Greens backing, to stop this bill now, today, in its tracks. We've heard all the usual reasons, the excuses why we shouldn't. We're only a house of review. We're only an unelected house. Well, I'm going to repeat a question that I put to Part 4 of what's now the Police Act, the part that explicitly targets Gypsy, Roma and Traveller people. A direct question to those planning on voting against the amendment or abstaining on stopping this bill. Is there nothing you would stop? Where do you draw the line? Surely you have a line.
My Lords, as